Check, sound check. It looks like it's working. Well, it looks like it's working on a new stream. Thanks, you guys. Love you. Okay, let's see if this works. It looks like I have sound. So first I was doing a live that lost its connection. And I can only guess that it just happened to be technical difficulties at just a precise time when I was talking about a certain thing. So then I came back on to finish what I was talking about, and it lost sound about 10 minutes in. So the first video, I think, just lost the connection, and at about 45 minutes in, I almost said an hour in. It was getting close to an hour. I haven't checked. So if somebody is here, they can tell me if they can hear me, then I can know that you can hear me. How wild is that? I'm going to check on my own YouTube thing here. It can be like a little sound loop-de-loop. Let's see. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Yes. Let's see if I can check my own sound. Check. Oh, hello, Tobias. Can you hear me? How are you? I recognize your name. It's been a long time. So I've had some trouble with my lives. This is the third one. Can you hear me? Lives. This is the third one. I can hear me. Okay, cool. There I am in the loop. That is crazy to do that. I have a question. When you make yoga again, yes, I can hear you. I do a yoga video pretty much every evening. So I post them in the evening. And yeah, the routine that I have, I can hear you good. Awesome. And we already have 4 people here. So I don't know if that's the people that were here before when I lost the sound. That is just so effing wild, isn't it? So I guess I shall not talk about those things. I must behave and not talk about things that might be relevant, right? I mean, that's the thing, is freedom of speech. And if all of this crazy stuff is going on, I wanted to ask if it's possible that you could maybe make maybe a yoga session live. Yeah, I've done them live before, and I'd be happy to do that. The problem would just be the scheduling. So I usually do my yoga like around 8 o'clock. We could try to do a live yoga at around 8 o'clock tonight. If that, does that work for you, or is that not a good time? And yeah, you'd be able to watch me, but I wouldn't be able to watch you. I don't have that type of setup. You know, like I know some yoga teachers have it where it's like you're in class, basically. You're like in a Zoom class. So is it possible today, yet now in your live stream, make quick exercises? Maybe. I will pay you if you want. No, you don't need to pay. That's nice of you to offer. So a couple of quick exercises that I can do right here really easily is like just dropping your ear to your shoulder. So right ear to right shoulder, and then You can extend your left arm down straight, and you can do a light pressure on your noggin, and it feels really good. It's just a nice light stretch. And then you can move your head and neck a little back and forth, and it's kind of like a massage. And then you can go back to neutral and then do the other side. And then I'll show you eagle arms too. Eagle arms is really cool. So dropping the left ear to the left shoulder, reaching the right hand down, and then a little pressure with the left fingertips on the noggin. And then a little movement, rocking your head and neck back and forth a little for a little massage there. All right. So the eagle arms, kind of a confined space here, but this is called like goalpost or cactus. And then bringing your arms together, your forearms together, and I usually do first my right elbow over my left elbow, and then you can bend your head down slightly and push your arms up slightly, and it's an amazing stretch on your neck and upper back across your shoulder blades. And then you can unwind. Oh, for feet. And then try the left elbow over the right elbow and do the eagle arms on the other side. Again, it's so good for the upper back and the neck. And then pushing the elbows up slightly, leaning the head down slightly. And then, yeah, I would direct you to check out maybe the video from the night before last, because last night's video got a little bit choppy. But I do a lot with like rotating the feet and ankles, pointing the toes, flexing the heel. And I don't know what else, like yoga for feet. Okay. I need now. So yeah, I'm not gonna do but yeah, just like pointing your toe and flexing your heel, rotating your ankle. I think that's a really good thing to do. So where are you? Are you like in Australia or something? It's 4:00 in Ohio, Germany. Very cool. Well, nice to see you. And yeah, I'd say just pointing your toes, flexing your heels. One of my favorite exercises is just standing like toes on the stairs, facing the stairs, holding a railing, and then straightening one leg at a time and pushing all your weight down on that one leg. Hey, Anna Bees, what's up? Is this so freaking crazy? So yeah, that kind of stretching with the calf, Tobias. That's one of my favorites. You can also just like lean up against the wall and really stretch out your calf. But I don't know what you mean really by like yoga for feet, other than that type of stuff. And in the yoga routine that I do this thing called cow face, which is like stacking your knees up on top of each other. And then I hold each foot in each hand and I massage the bottoms of my feet with the thumbs. And that feels really good. But yeah, Anna Bees, it is crazy. I mean, sure, it could just be technical snafus, but I feel like it's the material, don't you? So I think that Angela Chow's accident might not have been an accident. Would it be possible? I mean, I need exercises like a massage for the feet with thumbs. Yeah, I think that's about all I can do, Tobias, is direct you to like the videos. It's the same routine I do every time, and it just evolves slightly. But if you go to the video, not last night's, but the night before, so the second one back, and it's probably about halfway through. It's like a 70-minute video, so somewhere about 40-minute mark is probably the cow face. It's doing the twists. So like, yeah. Can you do it live? Not right now, because I can't do it in this spot the way I have the studio set up. It's kind of tight. Whenever you talk about certain things, it happens. Yeah. So the thing with Angela Chow being that she was this from this big billionaire Chinese shipping company, I think I want to say their base was in Singapore, but I'm not 100% sure. I know that the company, the ship that ran into that bridge in Baltimore, that was a Chinese ship that was based in Singapore. And that there's been a lot of speculation, I think unconfirmed speculation, that shutting down the power on the boat, that had to be a sabotage, that there's just no way that would have happened. And especially, right at a time when it's going under a big bridge like that. That's nuts. Which next stream are you live, Jazz, with exercises, session, or yoga? Well, I'll do my yoga live tonight at 8:00. So if that works for you, I don't know what that's in, just like 4 hours from now. So I don't know, that might be the middle of the night for you. So I don't know how that'll work. You can interlace your fingers between your toes and make circular motions. Yeah, that's a good one. Just damn, at this time I need sleep. Yeah. I'm sorry. So yeah, the thing with the ship, that company with the bridge collapse and now our economic collapse. So Angela was the youngest of the 6 sisters. Elaine was the oldest of the 6 sisters. Jeanette is the one who passed away in 2008. She was 52 years old. It was March 15th of 2008. She had a brief illness, is all it says online. 2 a.m. it'll be. Okay, cool. Awesome. See you then. Yeah, I'll try to do my yoga live right at 8:00 East Coast time. So I thought that was curious too, that it just said brief illness with Jeanette Chow. So she passed away when she was 52, about 17 years ago. And then I think it was her husband that passed away in 1996, maybe. But the mother, Ruth, passed away from cancer in 2007. And in 2012, the family donated $40 million to Harvard. I think 3 of the daughters went to Harvard. I think Elaine and Angela, and then one of the others, but I don't know for sure. Well, I do know for sure that at least 3 sisters went to Harvard. And then it might be that more than the 3 went there. So, the other big deal is that Jessica Aber, the lawyer from Eastern Virginia that passed away in her sleep on the night of, or the morning of, I'm not sure, March 22nd, just a couple, 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, right? Just over 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. Good night. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. So I love that the EU is suing the big E for violating community standards on his own platform. Remember when Laura Loomer was kicked off of all the platforms? Our current El Presidente was kicked off of all the platforms because they were being completely insane. Like Laura Loomer was even kicked off of Uber Eats, allegedly. It's insane. So that kid that I was talking about that was attacked with a sharp-edged object at a track meet in North Texas that passed away in his twins' arms. The kid's name is AustinMetcalf. He was 16 or 17, and the kid that did that to him was also 17, and he got arrested. But yeah, are the tariffs just a distraction? Could that be? Could these tariffs just be a giant distraction, specifically to distract away from Signalgate and who knows what else? Probably things that we're not even aware of. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. They're so crooked. So crooked. It's just ridiculous that it's gotten this bad. And, Mitch McConnell was like key in keeping our current president in office when he was it the first time or the second time he was impeached? Mitch McConnell was absolutely key. So the fact that his wife was the the Secretary of Transportation in the first administration, it just makes you wonder, the thing with the Tesla and then with Big E's political affiliations. Yeah. Just tariffing everyone except the Russians, right? And then they said, well, they can't tariff the Russians right now because they're in the middle of negotiations. That'd just be rude. It would just complicate things. It would muddy the water. Yeah, right. Oh, you guys, Les Wexner, he's the money behind Little E. So Wexner was tight with Jeffrey. And Wexner is like 86 or 87 years old. And he's coming up again because he's a benefactor, possibly, I think, I forget who, obviously with the Little E, but I think that he's tight with that Peter Thiel guy that you've been talking about, Anna Bees. And yeah, I saw that somebody did a video today titled something like, "Is Peter Thiel in love with JD?" Yeah, Wexner is in Ohio. He's in Columbus, or at least he was for most of his life. I assume that he still is. Everything at OSU, Ohio State University, is named after Leslie Wexner. Medical buildings and such. He's donated gobs and gobs of cash. He also was tightly affiliated with the Abercrombie Fitch. What's that guy's name? Another Jeffrey, I think. Hey, I'm on a live. Let's see. The Michael Jeffries. Yeah, see, I have to touch my phone for my brain to work. I didn't even. All I typed in was AB I was starting to do the Abercrombie and Fitch. So Michael Jeffries was finally getting arrested for all of the trafficking of the models, but Wexner is involved with that. Wexner is involved with Peter Thiel, I believe. I believe that these billionaires, this billionaire club, is doing the Handmaid's Tale kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I believe. I hate to say it, but it just seems like kind of obvious. You know, these dudes, they're so horrible, and especially towards people that aren't white guys. They're even horrible towards other white guys too. They're just hateful people, but they're especially hateful towards people that aren't dudes and people that aren't white. Absolutely pitiful. So just with the way the big E is with all of his baby mamas, the way he treats his kids, the way he treats the women in his life, it wouldn't surprise me in the least to know that he had a whole farm of other baby mamas. PT is a ex-predator with boys or girls or both. I mean, that was with Abercrombie and Fitch, with Michael Jeffries, it was mostly guys, but girls too, but mostly guys. That was their thing. And I mean, look at these freaking Russian beauty pageants that El Presidente would snoop around the dressing rooms and just bust in when people were getting dressed and undressed, because he had to inspect, because quality control. I mean, what a effing creep. Yeah. JD Vance had a smoky eye after meeting with PT and going to Greenland after that meeting. Smoky eye. Now, do you mean like the eyeliner, like getting more than just the eyeliner, but then doing like the smoky eyeshadow? Mostly boys. They're all ex-predators. Yeah, that's what it seems like. I mean, there's always been that perverted element in Washington, D.C. There's always been the side pieces and the ones who go missing, like Chandra Levy, like Monica Lewinsky. I brought her up recently, that allegedly she saved that infamous navy blue dress that she cleaned up with. She saved it as proof and sort of maybe like insurance to keep her alive. I think she put the dress into the hands of that disgusting, weird frenemy of hers, Linda. I think she gave her the dress as like an insurance, like, in case anything happens to me kind of thing. Monica. And then what was the friend? Linda Tripp. See, I didn't even finish typing friend. Linda Tripp, right? I'm pretty sure that's it because I had looked it up like a week ago. So yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that part of the story with the navy blue dress. They just know about the navy blue dress because it was so disgusting. And some eyeshadow. So what does that mean? Is that like a signal? That's creepy AF. Creepy AF. So Anna, I was watching a couple of videos while I was taking care of some other business that Crime Circus dropped today. The interrogations of Richard Allen. It was like 2 1-hour videos. And today, let's see. So he just dropped them today. And what is this? It's free ice cream cone at Ben and Jerry's. Oh, I gotta go, man. That's pretty awesome. Usually the line is out the door. I should have gone earlier when people were at work because, yeah, in the evening and afternoon, it's gonna be out the door. And yeah, it's just like $5. I don't know that it's worth it. I saw he dropped a video I will have to watch later. Yes, that woman who she gave it to went to the media. I don't know, but I'm sure PT thought he looked fabulous. Well, I wonder if it's not to signal something in particular. Like, that is just so creepy. It's so creepy. And so he dropped Crime Circus Strip dropped 2 videos today with the Richard Allen interrogations with the detective, and it's horrible. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty good at picking up on the signs when somebody's lying. There's no indications, in my opinion, that he's lying at all. But there are, I pick up many indications that the detective is hellbent, that there's no way that they're not going to pin it on Richard Allen. It's nuts. It's so sad. You know, he was there that day. He was on the bridge that day. He was very upfront about it, very frank about it. I just think that if they had that photograph and audio tape of Bridge Guy saying down the hill, I don't think it would have taken them 5 years to find a person to hang it on. I just don't. I think they would have been able, with forensics, enhancement of the video, enhancement of the audio, I think they would have been able to find him much quicker, especially since he was kind of a public person because he worked as like a pharmacy technician at CVS or Walgreens or something like that. So he interacted with the public every day. But why did he park where he did and go straight to the bridge? Well, the thing is, Annabise, I haven't studied the case the way I like to study cases, the way I just like to know everything and then some. I always want to know the backstory too. I'm very much on the surface with this case because it just seemed fishy to me all along that it was taking them 5 years, that nobody was getting arrested when they had videotape, when they had audio tape, when these are small towns. And then when that information came, when I came across the information about Ron Logan, whose property they were discovered on, who lied about his time frame for the day, he lied. He not only did he lie, he asked his, I think it was a cousin or a friend or something. He asked this other guy to lie for him. And he was on parole and he had a white pickup truck and he knew one of them vaguely. I think he knew their mother, or maybe he knew both of their parents, but they would have known that he was associated with the parents. And so he passed away in February. I think, wasn't that what year, whatever year it was. I think it was, I want to say 2022, Ron Logan. Let me look. Because he passed away in February, I think, and then they arrested Richard Allen in the fall, like in October. And it just seemed bizarre. Different Ron Logan. Okay, this guy. State says inmate who claimed Ron Logan confessed to Delphi. Let's see. And then he had an ex-girlfriend. I think he had 2 ex-girlfriends who said that he had been violent towards them and that he was a perv towards teenagers. And he was a farmer. He owned the land, so he knew the land. He died in January of 2022. Okay, that's what I was looking for. So then they arrested Richard Allen a few months later, basically. Like, I just think that's really weird. October 26th of 2022 was when Richard Allen was taken into custody. So bizarre. And yeah, I mean, just the interrogation, the cop just seems like bad. I'll just say it. He just seems wrong. He seems like he's bad at his job. He's not going to give up. Like, there's nothing that Richard Allen could say. The guy is just hell-bent on hanging it on him, in my opinion. And I can only speculate that Ron Logan was involved, which was why he lied about where he was. But like the time frame of it, I think was somewhere around like 3:30 in the afternoon is when they think, if I'm getting that right, whatever the time frame is, if it's 3:30 or something else, that the time frame doesn't fit with Richard Allen. Richard Allen, I think, was there at about 1:30, and I want to say that he was like sitting on his couch at home at 3:30 when his wife got home. So he has an alibi. And then Ron Logan was asking this cousin or friend to lie about the timing of when he went to run some errands to go to like Joann's Fabrics or Michael's or someplace like that to get some crafting supplies. I don't know. But that he was trying to say that he wasn't around at the time that it happened, like 3:30. But it seems that he was. So in the event that it was Ron Logan and that it was some kind of like ritualistic stuff and there were other people involved, then even with him deceased, you would think they would just like pin it all on him, right? No, an inmate says Ron Logan confessed to it. Hey, baby, come on in. So, oh, baby, watch out. You can never quite believe an inmate, right? Because, I mean, they're criminals. Um, so, here, let me show you Mookie. Come here, baby girl. Let's see, where can I set this down safely? Come here, baby. Come here, sweetie. Oh, you're so funny. You're so funny. So, yeah, it just seems like it was Ron Logan. So, not only did he own the property, but he was a horse trader. So, he had sold a horse to a 13-year-old girl, or I mean, I'm sure her parents were the ones that bought it, but it was for this 13-year-old girl when one of the ex-girlfriends was dating him, and she said that he was really lewd about the 13-year-old, like it totally creeped her out. So he is an ex-con. He was on parole. He lied about his alibi. He had 2 ex-girlfriends that said he was a domestic violence perpetrator. It just seems like it was him. Yeah, they were found on his property. It could be that he wasn't the only one involved, but I don't think he's innocent. Huh. He comes off as innocent to me, Richard Allen, but I think that they've coerced him to say that he did it, and that they've kind of brainwashed him that he actually probably believes that he did it now, or at least that's what he's saying. I don't know. So from the pics, it did look like symbols made with the sticks. Yeah, it's really, really sad. It's really disgusting. And then, they had like a bullet casing between Abby and Libby that they said was from Richard Allen's weapon. But I mean, that can easily be fabricated. Easily. And then once they have like a piece of key evidence like that, like a knife sheath, they think they have it in the bag. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that Richard Allen is innocent. I didn't at first. Like, I at first thought it was just a weird conspiracy theory on YouTube, because there are a lot of weird conspiracy theories on YouTube. But once I learned about Ron Logan and looked into the case, it was just like, damn. And then especially finding out that he was a horse trader. So that would indicate that he basically had money. I mean, being a property owner indicates that you have money. I was trying to find out what size the farm was and how many horses he had, but I couldn't find that information. But I think he'd owned that property for like 60 years. I think that he inherited that property from his family, that he had lived there since he was like 12 years old. So that is also very relevant when you're dealing with this kind of stuff in small towns, because the stories usually go way back. The vendettas, the retributions, the revenge, that can go on for multi-generation. And the, protecting the Logan family, protecting their name. Like maybe the sheriff was dated Ron Logan's sister or something like that. I mean, that's usually how those things go. Like, think about the Stephen Avery case. That's a weird one too, because it's just so convoluted. But in Stephen Avery's case, The Making of a Murderer, if you ever saw that, Anna Bees, let's talk about that for a minute. Let me know if you've seen it. And I have a friend who's from that area, and she's got her own opinion about it. But the situation with Stephen Avery and his cousin, who was married to the sheriff, and him and his cousin never liked each other. Oh, you have seen it. Good. So that key piece of evidence, it was like the cousin and Stephen Avery hated each other always. And I don't remember if there was any like precipitating factor with that whole thing with Teresa Holbrecht, I think is how you say her name. And it's so gross and so sad. But, oh, I remember now. It's been so long. Stephen Avery was intentionally convicted of attacking a woman and violating her. Right? And he served like 17 years. And then he was cleared by DNA. Is this accurate? Do you remember, Annabise? And then it was not that long after he got cleared, and he sued, and the county was going to have to pay him like $3 or $7 million. I think it was millions. And the county was bankrupt and they didn't have any money. And then this whole Teresa Holbrook thing happened, like literally, I think it was like 2 or 3 days before they were supposed to pay him. And I think that sheriff that was married to his cousin was involved in the first case where he was wrongfully convicted. And then he was not allowed to be involved in the Teresa Holbrook case. But he was like standing outside of Stephen Avery's residence when they were searching it. And then was it like the 6th or 7th day, he went in and he was the one who found the key to Teresa Holbrook's Honda that was on Stephen Avery's property in his wrecking yard. And the guy said that he found the key on the floor by the nightstand, like in plain sight. It was whack. It was so whack. I think I'm getting all of that info accurate. Anna redacted her message. Try it again. Richard Avery always only wanting that certain photographer for the paper. The Teresa Holbrook, am I saying her name right? That was just nuts. But I mean, it just seemed like it was such a setup. And then the whole thing with his nephew, Brian Dassey, who they illegally, they didn't treat him with, they violated his rights. He was a kid. He was 16 and he was like autistic and he was very vulnerable. And they definitely coerced a confession out of him that was not accurate. And then the police officer that did it, remember when he was testifying in court and he was crying on the stand? He was crying and confessing about how he felt so bad for doing that to Brian Dassey. I think that's the name of the nephew. That police officer crying on the stand, that blew me away. That was one of the weirdest parts of the whole thing. And the whole thing was pretty weird. Yes, he was wrongly convicted of the grape. Yes, Teresa. Yeah. Yeah, I think that people that are from that part of Wisconsin, the locals all think that Stephen Avery is guilty. And I think that Stephen Avery was a pretty despicable character. Like, I can't remember if he might have done things like hurt animals, like cats and stuff like that when he was growing up. I think there was something like that. And then, his family was poor. They had a wrecking yard. So they were like literally on the wrong side of the tracks. And he wasn't a reputable guy. So it was easy. He was an easy target, Yeah. he was wrongly convicted of the rape. Yeah. It's just nuts. I mean, these things happen. And, when I was younger, I thought it was so outlandish. I could hardly believe that anybody could be wrongfully convicted of anything. I really believed in our system, and that authorities wouldn't lie and fabricate fake evidence. And I know for a fact that they do absolutely lie, and they do absolutely destroy evidence, and they do absolutely fabricate fake evidence when they need to, when they want to. It's gross. And, the blue always backs the blue. It's pretty disgusting. I mean, there's a lot of, you look at Drew Peterson, the police officer from up there outside of Chicago, that probably unalived 3 of his wives, or at least 2. Stacey Abrams, and her sister says she's been at the bottom of this river. Like, she knows where she is, but she can't get to her, and the police won't get to her. It's nuts. But yeah, the police, they don't want to have the affiliation that they employed this guy who was a serial unaliver, basically. And they not only employed him, they promoted him, and they let him have a lot of power over other people. Hey, Vieja, just got in here, and busy day. You talking about Stephen Avery? Yeah. So this is my 3rd stream. The first one, I think I was about 45 or 50 minutes when I froze, and I tried to get it to get back, but it didn't work. And then I did a second stream to finish the article about Angela Chow that I had just started to read. And so that one went for about 22 minutes, but probably only like the first 9 minutes had sound. And then the sound got cut off. But you know what happened, Anna Bees? Because Anna Bees was here for all 3. This is the 3rd one. The sound got cut off when I closed out the live stream, because I had both tabs open. I had like my current live stream open, and I had the one that was frozen open. And I probably shouldn't have touched it, because I think it was simultaneous when I closed out the live stream that I had froze on, that's when I lost the sound. So that could have been something I did. And then this is the 3rd one. So I kind of got all the information covered that I had in my notes and that I had prepared, because, I always like to have a path of what it is that I want to share with you guys. And, I kind of didn't want to come on, because I just feel like this whole freaking thing with the tariffs is such an absolute crap fest. And it's just so out of control. I get really sick of hearing anything about it and seeing anything about it. It's just freaking nuts. So I didn't really want to come on and talk about it. But then I love doing my lives. And so I thought, well, I want to go ahead and do my live. And I've got notes of things that I've been thinking about since my live yesterday. It's kind of my routine to just take notes on the things I'm thinking and the things I'm watching, and then come on live and talk about it with you guys for an hour or so. And I love it. I love my routine. So thanks so much for being here. Christine Vieja. Yeah. So yes, just the corruption, because we were talking about Richard Allen. Drip Drop from Crime Circus put out a couple of videos earlier today that are each about an hour long, and it's the Richard Allen interrogation, and it's just heartbreaking. I need you to do your lives. Oh, Anna Bees, you're so sweet. I need to do them too. They're my therapy. They really are. And, the interaction is great, but honestly, it's like the all the colored lights is, I think, what really calms me down. it's fun. It's fun. Even when it's like horrible crap that we're talking about. I mean, there's such an abundance of horrible crap. And I just feel like it helps me make sense of it and gives me hope that we can fight against it. And, I'm never going to be too afraid to talk about things, because in the event that talking about them puts a target on your back, you're not safe in a world like that anyway. So to me, it's almost all the more reason you should talk about it. And yeah, there's a lot of crazy going on right now. And I am sure that the big E and the little T are about to go Splitsville, because yesterday Elon and his brother were making these posts saying basically how stupid tariffs were and how they shouldn't have them. And I think it was Elon that posted a video that was fabulous. It was a video talking about a pencil and how free trade is absolutely necessary, or you wouldn't even be able to make a pencil, because the wood comes from one place, the graphite comes from somewhere else, the rubber for the eraser comes from somewhere else, and then the brass grommet somewhere else, and then the paint somewhere else. So, you've literally got things from all over the world just in a regular, like, number 2 classic standard pencil. Oh, and you love my chakra tower too. I love it. I love all the lights. Like, I'm always trying to simplify. That's like when the batteries start dying in them, I try not to worry about it, because less is more. But yeah, I've got all these cool little things that I think, I should just get rid of everything and just have I've got tapestries back here, like this one with the Liberty Bell, the cracked Liberty Bell. And then the one that you can't really see, that, like my original one, the Let Your Light So Shine. Let's see if I sometimes show it to you guys. There, let your light so shine. That's a biblical verse from Matthew. And then that top crystal on the chakra tower, that's kind of different, because I still don't have like the purple glass 4-inch globe, like all of these perfect globes, but the one on the top is actual crystal, so that's pretty effing cool too. Anyway, yeah, like, I love the lanterns. I'm just a sucker for things like the columns, like this kind of column. I got this little set of columns. You can kind of see it back there. And then the match to it is over here. And it's, I think they're bookends, but I just love them as like little dollhouse kinds of things. And then these silly triangle things, pyramid things. And then this one that you can't even see because it's like off camera. I usually like to make sure that you can see. There you go. The light in it is dimming there. Okay. Oh, and then I whacked the thing. Okay. Praying that it works, Christine. I went to physical therapy today and was talking about dry needling, and I tried one endless with pulsing and could feel a minimum difference to see if liked it. So I am going to do it to see if it helps my neuropathy. Is that like acupuncture? Because you're saying physical therapy, and I didn't know that physical therapy would do a dry needling. Yeah, I hope that works too. Yeah, neuropathy is serious stuff. Thank you, Anna. You guys put the idea in my head the other night. Oh, awesome. It wasn't me, was it? It must have been Anna B's or something. Was it in one of my chats, or was it in a different somebody else's chat? That's way cool. It's just so nice to have the little like community, huh? Yeah. I'm getting all dry mouth on Shann's chat. Excellent. Yeah, and Shann came in to my second stream right before I lost the sound. That was annoying. Because, yeah, I haven't seen her in a chat in a long time. So we haven't talked about Kylie's case very much. Did we talk about it just a smidge? I've been looking into the lawsuits some more, the long ongoing multi-decade lawsuits of David Robinson with the government, and the sale of one of his properties or water rights, and that's one of them that's been in litigation forever and a day. It's pretty wild. And then there's another Daniel Robinson, or David Robinson. Daniel Rodney is her dad, different guy. But this other David Robinson that has a different middle initial, who's like a water rights attorney in the same area in Truckee and in Montana. And I think he went to jail for like allegedly polluting water. I think he went to jail for like 18 months. So I don't think that was Kylie's dad, granddad. I think it was a guy who's an attorney. But I thought it was really wild because, what's up, baby? Because of the connection with Montana too, because I know Lindsay lived in Montana, I think, when she had Kylie. I think Kylie was born in Montana, if I'm remembering right. I don't know if I'm remembering right or not, but I was pretty sure that they had a Montana connection too. Yes, let's talk about Kylie. Always, 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 always. Okay, let's see. I missed a bunch of stuff. Sorry. I had thought about you and me liking miniature stuff like dollhouses, etc. I think we were trying to hold onto our innocent child before our trauma. Oh, that's cute. Well, and when I was growing up, I didn't have anything like a dollhouse. I mean, I had a lot of stuffed animals, but my grandparents took some decent care of me, but my parents did not. So yeah, it could be. My mom was really into miniature stuff too. I think a lot of people are into miniature stuff. Miniature stuff is just cool AF. Yeah, dollhouses are super cool. Like that. We haven't talked about that. What was that television show? That weird Amy Adams television show that I was talking about a lot for a while. Amy Adams miniseries. Oh, creepy AF miniseries. And yeah, the dollhouse in that is crazy. Sharp objects. How could I forget sharp objects? That's wild. I haven't talked about it in weeks or months even. That dollhouse in that sharp objects. Anybody who hasn't seen sharp objects has got to see it. OMG. But it also, Anna B's in Vieja, I can't remember if you guys have seen sharp objects. I think you have, at least Anna B's, I think that you have, ties right in with KielyRodni's case and that whole like multi-generational thing that I was talking about with the family, with the mom. Yikes. And with the money, it's always the money. It's always the money. And we got to remember, in Kylie's case, the billionaire that was boots on the ground, who's now chumming up with El Presidente. Crazy, crazy, crazy. She's been gardening lots and seed starting. That is awesome. Is that Yeah, let's talk about Kylie. Lots of older cases coming on again. Summer Wells, Madeline McCain, John Benet Ramsey. The thing with John Benet Ramsey is that's been 30 years. And that's insane. That story is horrible. That poor little girl. I mean, it's ridiculous. 30 years. And that's Boulder, Colorado. I've got a theory about John Benet Ramsey that she was being sold to local government officials, basically. And that she was 6 years old and she was starting to fight back. Absolutely gross. And then the Madeline McCallan. Yeah, that's a weird one. And Summer Wells. Yeah, I mean, I kind of think with Summer Wells that she probably just drowned. And then they didn't want to admit it because it was their negligence. They were like doing their TikTok thing and crack, and she was playing in a lake and they weren't paying attention. I think she drowned. And then that picture of her in the back seat slumped over the milk. I don't think she was asleep. And so I think they hid her, and I know some people think she's being trafficked, and she's in Tennessee, which is a particularly nasty state for trafficking for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it's bad. I mean, it's really bad here in Ohio too. So I'm not like the pot calling the kettle black, you know, it's bad everywhere. Any new news on Avery case I missed? You know, I quit paying attention when they did the second season of Making of a Murderer, and things got so convoluted so quickly, and his attorney got really weird, and the whole thing just was a crap fest. You know, it was crazy that the Innocence Project didn't want to work with him the second time around, because I think he's like the only case that they had the same individual come around twice. So they thought, no way. And then they did decide to do, to back him, the Innocence Project. I think that they flipped on that refusal. And I never watched the whole second season. It just got to be too much. There is a miniature part in our art museum in Kansas City, Nelson Adkins Art Museum. Very cool. OMG, it's such a twist. That is possible. I think she did just drown. They were so neglectful. Right. And they would go to jail for that, you know, that kind of fatal child abuse, neglect. And that's the thing that it just kills me, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand that most fatalities that are related to child abuse, that most of the fatalities, I think the percentage might be as high as like 80 or 90%. It's like almost all neglect. It's not from, you know, there are kids who get beaten fatally and that kind of thing, but usually it's the neglect, and then there's the cover up. So, you know, and same thing with Madeline, with her parents being at the restaurant drinking wine and checking on her, and you know what, they gave her like some sleeping meds or something. So anything could have happened to her, but maybe they overdosed her with sleeping meds because they wanted to stay out with their friends. And then they covered it up because they were both doctors, weren't they? I remember at least the mother was a doctor or physician from whatever country they were from. But yeah, being a physician and then doing that is insane. Absolutely insane. So, yeah, I think all three of those cases are parental. All three. Absolutely. I think the first one is probably neglect. The second one is basically poisoning, maybe, possibly, and kind of combined with neglect. But who knows? And then John Bonet, I think, was being trafficked. Gross. Absolutely gross. And I think that the parents were doing it. I mean, man, they had so much money, and there's just never enough. I agree, Jazz. I think Stephen red-rummed Teresa. See, I don't think he did, actually. I don't have that opinion, but I think that people that are local there, that they do have that opinion. I don't think he would have. I think that the county had a lot of motivation to do what they did, and they should have never been able to use the evidence that the sheriff discovered when he was not allowed to go in there because of the conflict of interest with the last case. It's crazy. So, yeah, and it's just so disgusting. In the event that it was a setup, that's the extent that law enforcement would go to, especially because they didn't have the money to pay Stephen Avery. Yes, I think that happened too. And yes, they were both doctors. Vieja says there seems to be child abuse way more than a normal person would think in this world, like out of control. Absolutely. And domestic violence too. I mean, how many women like Ivana fell down a flight of stairs out of the blue? That could be related to domestic violence. Not that her ex-husband would have done anything, but he might have had something done, and that's kind of domestic violence. And just like the whole thing with Drew Peterson and his first wife and his second wife, and I think there was a third wife in there, but maybe the third wife is still alive. I think there's a lot more domestic violence than anybody wants to admit, and it just gets covered up. I think I told you guys I had a client who had tried to poison her boyfriend. She was putting like cyanide or rat poison in his burritos over a period of time, and she got arrested for it, and he didn't die, but she got off on the whole domestic violence, victim of domestic violence thing. So I think she was like 19 when it happened, and the guy I think was older than her, and that law had just passed, so it worked to her advantage. But that was domestic violence in both directions. He was abusing her, and then she was trying to take him out, kind of like that Burning Bed movie. But yeah, when people are potentially like selling their kids, none of us want to see that. None of us want to admit that that's even possible, and it is possible, and it happens, and it's just awful. I mean, like MaddieSoto. I mean, it's uncommon that people are stupid about the crimes that they commit, as Stefan Stearns and Jen Soto were. But thank goodness that they were so stupid, right? Because otherwise they can get away with this crap. I mean, look at Casey Anthony. And I don't think her daughter just drowned by accident and then she covered it up. I don't think so at all. I mean, all the chloroform and the duct tape. I mean, there's duct tape over her mouth with a little heart on it. So gross. So effing gross. Let's see. I don't think SA is guilty either, but a cover up for family member and the law enforcement mishandling. Drew Peterson is free, isn't he? No. I don't think so. I don't think Drew Peterson is free. I hope not. The problem is Stacy Peterson is more than most likely deceased, and he's probably never going to get charged with that. Her sister, Cassandra, says that she has like some kind of sonography and knows where her remains are at the bottom of a river. She's been there for like a year, and Cassandra can't get cooperation to recover what she thinks are her sister's remains, Stacy's remains. I almost said Teresa. Farrah Fawcett and Burning Bed. Yeah. She gave her Xanax, right? Zanny the nanny. Yep. Casey Anthony, definitely guilty. Oh my gosh, she's so gross. And when she resurfaced recently, I watched one video about that, and that was all I could take. Yeah, Zanny the nanny. That was ridiculous. So I'm going to look up Stacy Peterson, but I did want to continue the conversation about chicks doing these horrible things. Chicks like NK in the Watts case, Amanda Knox in the MeridethKercher case, and Scammy Smith in the KielyRodni case. Wow, so she would be... Would she be... Yeah, she'd be 41 years old if she were still alive. So this was a whole year ago. Stacy Peterson's sister says she found her body in a canal. And so she had two children, Lacey and Anthony. I wonder who raised the kids. And just the one sibling, Cassandra, who just like won't give up, which is awesome. You got to have the family member fighting hard. So she disappeared October 28th, 2007. And then when she was 19, she married Drew, and he was 49. That's is a little bit more of an age discrepancy than El Presidente and his current wife. So yeah, hasn't really been an update on the remains in the canal, but like I said, the law enforcement is going to be very invested in not having employed a serial unaliver. So they don't have any motivation to solve that case, in my opinion. So that's really sad that there's nothing updated from a year ago. It's crazy. Reminds me of the song Evil Woman. That's funny. It's a good song. Or I forgot about the Idaho 4, the two surviving witnesses that didn't witness anything, right? Like that whole thing was effing crazy. And now we're seeing all of these texts going back and forth with each of the roommates and their daddies, and photographs and dirty deleting. It's insane. And then Bethany's dad being a doctor of sorts, he's a dentist. And then Dylan's dad, Brett, I think he's a builder. I want to say he is like a that he does like remodels. He's a contractor, I think. And then her mother works for the university at the, I think at the Des Moines, no, that's Iowa, Boise, at the Boise branch of University of Idaho. And then just the whole thing with the freaking president of the college and the property and the whole thing with all the allegations of OnlyFans, all the money there. And, you know, there were probably live stream cameras all over that house that those girls weren't even getting a cut of the money that were from those live stream cameras. What do you want to bet? All over that house. Yes, it is so wrong. Madeleine McCann parents got doctors. Not got both. Right. Madeleine McCann's parents are both doctors. Right. Thank you for the correction. Because yeah, I was like, huh? I figured that that's what you meant, but I wasn't sure. So yeah, maybe we'll wrap up since we've just been rambling for over an hour. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. And it's 5:20. So maybe I'll do a live yoga tonight at 8. We'll see if that works out, hopefully. And Mookie will probably be there too, because she's almost always there on the bed. And sometimes she's quiet and sometimes she's not. Was it last night when she was like biting my hand? She was attacking me. And the dogs, I think, were attacking each other, which is unusual. But yeah, they were like all ramped up because the little tiny, I said golden retriever, which is crazy because what I meant was Cocker Spaniel, golden Cocker Spaniel. She came over to visit, so they were all fired up. But I think are fostering her. I don't know. I don't know how the negotiation is going. It's kind of like my husband and my son are in negotiations, so we'll see. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Mookie is so cute. She is. She's my baby. She snuggles under the covers with me every night. Oh, look, she wants to talk into the thing. She's like licking it, kissing it. She's such a love bug. Oh, my goodness. And then Coco's doing so well. I'm just so blessed to have these babies. So yes, love and light. Have a really good evening, and maybe we'll see you guys at 8 o'clock Ohio time for a live yoga session. All right. Thanks again. Anna, you're the bomb. All three. You get a gold star. And you too, Christine. Thanks again, you guys. Drink your water, eat your protein. Most of all, be kind and eat your veggies, right? Helps you stay kind.